Welcome along to Funky Junk. Today we're going to show you lots of things that you can make at home from recyclable materials, from things that sometimes end up in your bin. Let's have a good time and we'll see what we're going to make. What are we making, Kelly?
Well, today we're going to make some really funky candle holders from wine bottles, which I'm sure Mommy and Daddy might have some left over at home after, you know, a good night out in the town or a good night in with each other. So we have a few different ideas. Number one, we're going to start, Mom's going to show you how to start off this process by using, papier-mâché techniques with some nice paste and, of course, old newspapers, which I'm sure you all have at home as well.
Yeah, we just cut up some newspaper here, and the whole thing about it is that you can use wallpaper paste, but there's actually fungicide in that. So if you're using wallpaper paste that you just buy from the hardware shop, you have to really wash your hands very, very carefully afterwards. You're much better off go to the art shop and buy some special wallpaper paste that you can get there that's safe for the boys and girls at home. Now, I've told you all that. What you do is you're going to cut up little pieces of newspaper like that, and you're going to put them into the wallpaper paste, which you've made up by sprinkling your wallpaper paste into a container and adding some water to get it to the right consistency. That means whether it's thick or weak, whatever way you want it. We've made this nice and strong today, and some people actually put it into the blender and all sorts of stuff to pulp it up. Now, we don't need to pulp this too much because I've done a good bit of it in advance, and I've started off at the bottom, just covering the bottom round and round with pieces of paper. And I'll just show you now a small example. I get to do all the gooey stuff. You love all this goo, and you can make shapes with it and all as you go along. Blend it in, but make sure that it is stuck nicely onto the bottle. Fold it down like that. You'll have a nice time doing it. And also you fold it down onto the existing pieces of paper that you've done before. It can take quite a while to dry, so the whole idea really is that you can put it in your hot press on the floor, not on Daddy's good freshly washed shirt, or you'll be in trouble, I'll tell you. But put it down on the floor in the hot press, and you can let it dry down there, and it'll dry nice and quickly. You can also add on more and more layers. Now, there's far too much paste on that one. You only need a very little small bit of paste, and if you end up with too much paste, as I've just done, to counteract that effect, you can actually put a dry piece of paper over the top. Now, that will absorb all the paste that you've done. It will add a new layer, and it'll make your bottle probably a little bit faster to work on. So I'm going to continue doing this, and I'm going to paint the base of this bottle, and Kelly is going to show you what you could do next to decorate it.
Now, as you can see, we have one here that's painted, and it's in a lovely strong red colour. And I've got some bits and pieces here that I found. For example, a nice string of pearls that unfortunately used to be a necklace, and I broke it. So I'm going to use it now to put it to good use, as we do in Funky Junk. And I have some nice silver glitter here and red glitter, because I'm going to stick to a kind of a silver and red theme. I have also some nice silver thread here, and again, stuff that you can use. This is silver ribbon that you can use, that I've used on many's a Christmas decoration in the past, and that has been left over in my house. So I'm going to start with the pearls. And I'm going to get some nice bit of wire that I've already cut here that you can get in the craft shops. Nice strong thick wire. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that first. Now I'm going to secure it around the bottle. Nice, like pull it nice and tight so that the pearls don't fall and escape. And I'm going to show you how to wrap this like in a nice little knot. Just twist it around and around so that it doesn't fall or break. Like that. Okay, and is there a pair of scissors there? There is at hand. I'm going to just snip it, and that'll stay nice and secure for me there. Now I'm going to wrap the pearls around maybe in this kind of a way here. Now I'm going to do the same again with the wire here. Get a bit more wire from my spool. You're looking nice and getting nice strong paint colours onto that one there, Mum?
Using this one here, this nice blue colour, just to show the boys and girls at home. One of my tips for this is that if you're using your colour, it's a very, very good idea, first of all, not to use your paint just direct. Add a little bit of water into it, because if you do add a little bit of water into it, you'll get into all those little crevices there at the start. Otherwise, it's a bit thick and you're going to leave a lot of gaps. The second coat that you do, okay, you can do a nice thick coat, and you can add a little bit of PVA glue into the next layer, and that will make your bottle more secure, nice, strong, and also it will strengthen up the paper, and it will give a lovely sheen, a nice kind of a glint off it when the whole thing's finished. If you don't want to use your PVA glue, adding it into the paint as you go along, you can finish off with a nice coat of varnish, and Kelly will be showing you again the finished bottle, the lovely bottle over there with the flowers on it, and how we decorated that and added it just a nice little bit of just ordinary varnish that Dad would use at home, a nice light varnish.
Now I've just finished securing my pearls, so I'm going to show you now. I've just cut a little bit of ribbon and I'm going to stick it around the top of it here so that the top of the candle holder is nice and pretty as well. And I've got some glue here. I'm going to rob some of your paste there, Mum.
Go ahead, certainly.
If you don't mind.
Go for it.
This would be nice for a nice gift for, you know, maybe Mother's Day or Father's Day, a nice romantic gift so that Mum and Dad can have something nice at the table for when they're eating.
That's a great
and dining
idea.
together. It's a very romantic gesture. So, or if you have any birthdays coming up, any friends' birthdays, it would be nice. And I always like original presents myself. Some presents that have gone into them.
That's right.
They'll appreciate all the efforts.
You see that that's right. People do hold on to cards and all kinds of things that have been made by someone special. They hold on to them forever and ever.
They do indeed. I have loads of birthday cards and stuff at home that I've kept, and presents from down the years. And I'm going to do the same at the bottom so that there's a nice little theme going on here. Again, with lots of glue, because otherwise it won't be secure enough. I'm going to paint the back, dab the back of it with glue. I love silver and red. They're two of my favourite colours.
They do go nicely together, don't they?
They do. Now.
That's very quick, your method.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It'll stick nicely now because it's paper. Everything sticks to paper very easily. So now, don't need all of that, so I'm going to cut it a bit so we can save, because it's all about recycling, as you know. I'm going to save that bit for later. We've got some nice strong colours going on with the blue and the red.
This is lovely here, and what I'm going to do now, while Kelly's getting her ribbon...
Getting nice and sticky here with the glue?
Yeah, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue over the top of this, basically, and rub it along with my hands, just put it gently along the top of the bottle, because it'll dry very, very quickly. And then as an effect, if it doesn't all stick to my hands now, because I have lovely little pepper pots that I usually use and put all my glitter into it, so it doesn't stick to your hands. You can just put it on like salt and pepper. But today I'm just going to sprinkle around the top little strong colours at the end to give a nice effect. And I don't even have to do the top. That would be lovely when it dries out. It'll be just gorgeous. And I shouldn't have done that little bit there, but I'll just put another little bit over the top. Try not to do that. I'm always tempted to stick my hands into it and rub it around, and there's no need for it at all. It'll just dry down like that, and it'll be lovely at the end.
I'm just spreading glue all over this now so that when I sprinkle the glitter over it, it'll stick nicely. And when you're finished with decorating your bottles, it's always nice to varnish it at the end so that it has a nice shiny effect and a nice finished product at the end. So I'm just going to sprinkle this all over the bottle now. It'll catch the light now as well. It'll be really pretty, especially under the candlelight. It's a great way to use up all the old newspapers at home as well, because I know in my house, my dad likes to keep all the newspapers in the corner and pretends he's going to read them, and then he never does. So we have great use for that. it's coming along nicely there, isn't it?
Ah, that is cute.
Pretty.
Yeah, you could add as much as you want
Yeah, exactly.
to that.
There's loads of things that you can do with your bottles. Any kind of old scraps that you have at home, you can use on them. Now, for example, the blue one here at the end, I'm going to just show you that. I cut out some flowers out of a magazine, out of a gardening magazine actually, and I stuck it onto the blue after the newspaper and glue and all that had dried and the paint had dried, and again put glitter over it and then varnished it. So that's why it's so shiny and pretty. So you can do anything you want. It doesn't have to be, things that stand out as such. You can you maybe put your favourite celebs' faces on it, so it can funk up your room a bit maybe. And just use your own ideas, use your own initiative and your own imagination. It's all about imagination and creativity, isn't it, Mum?
Oh, it is. What do you think of my bottle?
I love it.
It's nice.
Coming along nicely there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, kind of finished actually.
Oh, really?
I don't think it's going to come along much more, except it just needs a candle to put into it.
like
That's all. Yeah, I think it's kind of cute.
It's fun. It's actually a nice Christmas one, isn't it?
That's
It would be a nice Christmas centrepiece.
I was just thinking the very same thing. That would be a gorgeous
or
one for
Valentine's
Christmas.
Day. The red thing going on.
Very good.
No,
We've got to
that's
put them all
us.
over together. And let yours stick out there at the front because you did all the work. Lovely. And those are our lovely candle holder bottles.
We're going to pay another visit to a school today. Let's see if it's yours.
Oh, it's a lovely sunny day. Birds are singing, bees are floating past in the air, and we're here in Donamead at the
Holy Trinity Senior National School.
I'm glad they said that because it's really quite a mouthful, isn't it? Well, we're here to find out more about recycling and all the stuff that's going on in this particular classroom. What class are we in, Amy?
6th class and Mr. Rhymes.
So, Sophie, I was looking up at that funny little man that you have hanging over your head there. He's about to descend on this table. And would you like to tell me how you made him?
We drew out the shoes first, and then we coloured them in, and then we made the dangly legs. It's just folding the paper over it. Then we made the body and the heads, and then we coloured those in, and then we made the dangly arms, and then we drew the hands.
That's brilliant. And you each had an idea. You personalised and made your own, didn't you?
Yeah.
And what kind of one did you make?
I made a dancer.
A dancer. Do you do dancing yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, where do you go for dancing?
I do Irish dancing, and then I do freestyle dancing as well.
Excellent. And how are you getting on? Have you won any prizes or medals or anything?
Well, I have loads of trophies from the Irish dancing, but I'm only have to join freestyle, so no, not from freestyle.
Sure, what did you say your teacher's name is there, Andrew?
Mr. Ryan.
Mr. Ryan, and he does a lot of stuff for recycling, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What's the idea behind this here?
Instead of having your books all out on the table messed up, you can have them in a box
Yeah.
to save it up.
That's great. And where did you get these boxes? Because they're recyclable, aren't they?
Yeah.
Where would you find something like that? Anybody know here?
The vegetable shop.
The vegetable shop, they're great. You can do a lot of stuff with that. Do you have a compost bin here at all in the school?
Yeah,
Three outside.
Tell us about that there, Sarah.
We have 3 outside. I think they're in the green area.
Yeah, and what do you put into that now, Lacey?
We'd put fruit and shredded paper and leaves and anything that was once living.
That's great. Do you find that you have, do you collect them up in a big bag or something and bring them down, or do you just go each time? What way does that work?
Buckets for different fruits.
Here in the classroom?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So in the classroom, when you finish your lunch, you might put what into it?
Like your apple skins or your leftover apples or peelings off your banana or your orange or leftover fruits.
Great. And what about home? What do you do with that stuff when you go home?
Well, what we put into the bin is anything that's biodegradable.
What does that mean?
Something that will rot down to make compost.
Right, okay. And that's great. And what happens then? How does it rot down and what
It
happens?
rots down if you put it in layers, like say you put the leaves and then you put the paper and then the grass cuttings and then the fruit, and then it'll just eventually just rot down, and we use it to put it in the pots and over like flowers.
In the garden, yeah. And why do you put it in layers? That's very interesting.
Because it'll if you
down
don't,
quicker.
it'll rot down quicker, and if you don't, you have to shred the paper too, because it'll take about 6 weeks or 7 weeks if you shred it, but it'll take about 5 months or something if you don't.
Great. And then are there creepy crawlies that go into it then, Andrew?
Yeah.
What sort of things? I know some people have wormeries, the little worms that they put in.
Some
help break it
spiders
down.
just come in.
Spiders and stuff. Have you checked and seen any millipedes or centipedes and stuff like that? Or
Not yet, but the other day I seen a spider in it.
did you? Having a good old munch maybe, yeah, doing its work.
They help break it down.
Help break it down and work out and do all that.
So this is where you come, is it? To shred the paper.
I collected some scraps from all teachers who aren't using them, so we can shred them and put them in the compost bin. It was like,
Cool. Oh, there we go. Wow, it makes a great noise, doesn't it? Can I try? This looks very exciting. Okay. Yay! That's great. And then let's see what happens when you... does it come out all shredded and stuff? Wow. Oh, yeah, so it's easier to break down in the compost bin then when it's like that, isn't it?
We just love papier-mâché on Funky Junk. We make a load of stuff with it, but I'll tell you something, we're going to learn a lot more of the bits and pieces that are going on here. You've got different techniques, haven't you, Kim? You've used wire here. What's that for?
To make wings, legs, and other kind of stuff.
And what kind of wire is that one?
Like around the pots and flowers.
Oh yeah, from the garden.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And listen, Kim, what do you think that's going to be? It's not yours anyway, that one. I think it's going to be a big insect because it's got the shape of the wings there. So we'll find out. How do you start it off there? How do you start making this, Alex?
You roll up lots of newspaper. I got however big or you want it, round or long, and then you just start with the PVA glue and painting.
You use PVA glue, do you? Do you sometimes use wallpaper paste at all, Lauren?
Sometimes we do.
Yeah, so it depends what kind of an effect you want to get. But the PVA glue dries quicker, doesn't it, Paul?
Yeah.
And Paul, you made something yourself. What did you make?
I made an owl.
An owl. What way did you start doing that?
I started off by getting paper and I started making it into a big ball, and then I twisted it and I put the wire around so I could make a head of it.
Great. So that's a great way to start, isn't it? To sort of get an idea from a picture.
I had one problem when I was doing the wings. When I was putting the paper on with the paste, the paper kept on falling off.
How did you manage then to succeed and keep going
I
at
got
it?
help from one of my friends. He held the wing and I did it.
And then what happened when you finished that section of it? What did you do next?
I left it to dry and then I came back and finished off the rest of it, and then I painted it the next day.
And does it take long for it to dry, Jessica?
Sometimes it depends on how much paste you use.
Yeah, and what did you make? This is gorgeous.
A bee.
A bee. Tell us about this one. There's a bit of a stinger sticking out the back here. Lethal weapon, 3 or 4. So how did you start this one?
You start rolling up a piece of newspaper, and then you get them over as you're rolling it. And then
Have you wire in that as well?
you use it for the wings.
Oh, yeah.
And you put the newspaper over.
You worked very quickly, didn't you, with yours?
Yeah.
And you put the newspaper over it, and what happened then?
And then you wait for it to dry, and then you just paint it.
Did you look at a picture as well to get an idea? Why did you decide to do that one?
Because I thought it was easier to do.
That's lovely, isn't it? It's gorgeous. And most of them are hanging up. Your owl is hanging up as well. We might have a look at that later on. That'd be lovely to see. And will you just run through how you put that together, or why you chose a snail?
I chose a snail because other people were doing like hedgehogs and all, but then I wanted to do one, but I wanted to be something that I'd do, like wouldn't be unique.
Oh, very good.
No one else was doing a snail at all, but then I found out that was really easy. Because I got loads of newspaper and I rolled it up into a ball to make the shell.
Good.
And I got some sellotape and I rolled them to make the head, and then I stuck it on, and then I put the wire up here, and then I made the eye.
Do you know, it'd be nice now to do a little bit of research, what you call, and find out, about snails and their habitat and the jobs that they do for recycling, and if they're involved in the compost and all that. As you're making stuff like this, it's nice to find out what the bee does for the flowers and all that as well, isn't that right? And what have you got here? You've got some fella that might end up in the compost heap. Who's he?
Spider.
Yeah, and he does great work, doesn't he, inside, munching things and breaking things down a bit like the worms. Just wiring all those.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And you're going to keep going at that, are you? Because he's got a little bit of a leg thing going on here that you're probably going to finish off. And you're going to paint it then, are you?
Yeah.
And so you'll look again at pictures and see the colours of spiders and what little intricate, sometimes greens and blues that come out through them. There's so many different kinds of spiders too. They're fairly simple, aren't they, when you get started on it? But as you say, once you have a problem and you get somebody else to give you a hand, it solves a lot of things, doesn't it, Paul?
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, Paul, doesn't it?
Yes, you see.
I was testing you to see if you'd remember my name. Well done, Paul. You get a brownie point for that. Oh, wasn't that marvellous? I really enjoyed that visit
So
to the
did
school.
I.
All those things the boys and girls are doing to recycle, it's fantastic.
They're marvellous altogether. Now I'm going to get back down to business and show you how to make a cool tea light candle holder. It's very simple. All you need to do is collect old jars that you have at home. I'm sure you all have old jam jars or coffee jars or any sort of glass jars, so that the important thing is that they're see-through, so that you can see the light shining through and glowing through the glass. So I have like a little tea light here. I'm sure you've all seen these before. You can get them in any shop around town, and you just put it into the glass jar, and then you can decorate it in whatever way you see fit. Now I'm going to decorate mine with little ducks, because I just like ducks and I think they're friendly creatures, and they're pretty. So I have a nice piece of yellow paper here, and I've cut out some circles. One is a big circle and one is a small circle. The bigger circle is going to be used for the body, and the small circle is for the head. So I'm just gonna, it's very easy, just cut around it, and nice and quickly. And as well, as we always say, be very careful when you're using scissors, because they can be very dangerous. Don't want to cut yourself. And if you don't know how to use scissors yet, ask Mom and Dad at home. Okay, and I have some paste that we have left over from earlier today when we made our bottles. So I'm going to paint the back of this now with the paste and stick it onto the jar. Now, that's one body done. Like that, okay? It's very simple. Let that dry. I'm going to cut out the head now. And I have some lovely a scrap of gold paper here that I've used for the beaks, just from old Christmas paper that I had lying around the house. We're desperate like that in our house, aren't we? We keep everything, Mum.
Oh, we keep everything, absolutely.
Stashed and hidden away.
And it's nice because we've got lots of little recyclable containers to hold stuff in as well.
Yeah.
So they come in useful for that too, don't they?
Definitely.
To actually store things too, yeah.
Now, I'm going to attach it there to my little body. Now I have 3 chicks, and they're going to keep each other company. They look as if they're following each other around the jar, don't they? Cute.
They're
I've
lovely.
used some feathers as well. They're very easy to get in little craft shops as well, and you can get loads of multicoloured feathers if you want to give them different coloured tails as well. You don't have to stick to what I'm doing. Use your own imagination. You don't even have to use ducks. You can use whatever kind of animals you want, or even rabbits or cows or horses. I love horses, actually. They're one of my favourite animals. You went horse riding as well once, didn't you, Mum?
Oh, only a couple of times, yeah. The horses didn't like me too much.
Can be scary, actually. Have you ever gone galloping?
Not of my own free will.
No, so I finished my little tea light holder, and all you have to do then is light your candle, and sometimes you can hang it up high so that it hangs nicely from the ceiling maybe, and you have a couple hanging around maybe your front hallway at Christmas time or something, if you want to decorate it for
That's
Christmas.
gorgeous.
Or Halloween even, that would be kind of cool. If you did it with pumpkins all around it, then it would be a kind of a Halloween-y effect. It'd be cool.
That's great. Now, I also have been making a lot of candles from recyclable materials. I was painting away here while Kelly was having her chat and doing all her lovely painting, just to show you different ways of decorating a jar. You can do so many different things to hold your little candles. That's quite damp now, it's quite wet, so I'm going to put it down there nice and safely. But these are particularly good enamel paints that you can buy in the art shop. You can buy those. They are a bit sticky, and you will need your little white spirits sometimes to wash off your hands and clean yourself up afterwards. But let's have a look here at some of the jars that we've made here. There's a nice decorated one. That was a candle that we bought in a shop, and we just, when it was empty, we just reused old candles. This is an old candle. Look, the wick's gone on it. We just burned it for a short while and it just disappeared. That's a bought candle. So what I do with these is I melt them down again in a saucepan very gently, and I sieve out all the little bits like of the wick and so on, and these little silver things that end up inside. I just sieve them out and I reuse the candle. Now, Mum and Dad and uncles and aunties and all those people will have to be with you when you're doing that, because they get hot and they get dangerous. But once you've ended up with your candle all melted down, you just let that go down into the bottom of your container. You can use a little peg to hold it, put a peg across, or put a pencil across that way there, put a peg across the top of it, and that will hold it for you until you pour in your liquid. That will actually, you can just hold it around like that, get it in and secure it. This little pot here is decorated all around just by using these enamel paints, and as you can see, they're just little ducks all painted around the side using that enamel paint and a very small brush with a couple of green specks. The simpler the better for decorating these jars. I got a little nice piece of wire and I threaded through some beads, just ran it around the top, and you have a lovely effect, and there's a kind of a nice feel about that. Now when the wick is long like that, that would be dangerous to light it like that, so you just cut it off at the top like that, trim it off, and have a nice little small, you know, stub on the top there.
So that's all we have for you today here at Funky Junk. Personally, I want to go and make myself a cup of tea. So that's it from me, Kelly.
And from me, Lucia.
And we'll see you next time on Funky Junk.
Funky Junk.
Bye!